As we go into Melbourne winter, it's time to talk a little bit about dressing properly for road biking and gravel riding. Starting with a solid foundation, we've got the humble base layer. Now these keep you warm, they keep you dry, and they add a little layer of protection on your body for really cold days, especially if you're road biking or gravel riding and you're taking on a lot of wind in the front. This base layer that I'm holding up here is polyester, and the neat thing about these fabrics is they transfer moisture to the outside of the material through either a treatment to the fabric or the fabric itself in the little tiny micro capillaries in the fabric that basically as soon as the moisture hits it, it winds out, pushes it to the outside, spreads out, and then evaporates. This is really handy on even mild days, not just on the coldest days. I wear my base layer when it's 12 degrees usually or lower, and I know I'm going to be out for a decent amount of time. So the base layer that I'm wearing has a little Wintex front on it, which is a nice little added feature to keep you a little bit warmer. But the base layer really functions as a dry piece of material against your skin, and then you can put your jersey on top of it. I've got a long sleeve jersey on here. It's a thermal fleece long sleeve jersey. So I can either wear a normal jersey and maybe a vest for wind protection and have a couple extra layers, or what I prefer to do on those 12 degree or lower days is this long sleeve jersey. Now the nice thing here is I know I'm not going to need to pull off my arm warmers. Having this all in one just makes it super comfortable. The thermal fleece layer on the inside of it is really warm. So if I find that I'm climbing or I'm putting down a lot of effort and I'm getting really hot, it's really easy to unzip it and let some of that heat out. And as soon as I start to chill, then I can put it back up again. Next, neck warmers. These are so handy, they're inexpensive, and they can make such a difference to your ride. I find that when I first take off on those mornings when you're shivering, waiting on the group, and you're like, okay, this is going to be a cold one, being able to pull this up over your chin, and get maybe even your ears for a little while, can make such a difference in the first couple kilometers until you adjust to the temperature. And then if you start to get warm, you can tuck it down and out of the way. It's not an intrusive piece of material, and they can also double as a head cover. But I really love my neck warmers. So let's talk a little bit about the extremities. So like I said, I'm wearing a long sleeve jersey here, so I don't need any extra arm protection. But if I decide to wear a normal short sleeve jersey and a vest and a base layer and use an arm warmer, these come in a couple of different thicknesses. You can get ones that are really basic for your mild days, 6 degrees to 12 degrees. If it's going to be a little cooler, you can get ones that have a really nice comfortable fleece liner. These are supposed to fit fairly snug, and they usually tuck up with a silicone gripper underneath the sleeve. It's form-fitting, it's not meant to flap in the wind, so they're supposed to be snug but not tight. And these ones from Grip Grab are awesome. I've been using them for a couple of years. They even have an aqua repel version, which is really good at shedding moisture. We were out a couple weeks ago and it went into fog and a little bit of light drizzle that just beat it up on the outside and rolled off. It's a really handy feature. So when we're moving to the legs, you have a choice of going bare-legged, which a lot of people do at colder temperatures, but that's not a good idea because the knee has less circulation than other parts of the body, and it takes a little bit of insulation to keep it warm. So it's really good to keep the knees covered, probably when it's 10 degrees or lower. Now in my case here, I'm wearing some just knee warmers, so they stop just short of my 7-inch black socks. But if you find that that little gap there bothers you, it doesn't bother me, but if it does bother you, you can get the longer version. So we have knee warmers, which are slightly shorter, and then we have the full leg warmers that go down over the sock, maybe into the top of the shoe. And for the coldest mornings, I've got a full set of tights, thermal tights, full length that go all the way over top of the shoe covers that I'm wearing on the day, and those have a really thick thermal layer. I probably pull those out on the days where when I'm taking off it's -1, -2, -3, and it's really good for keeping those legs toasty for the whole ride.